All right, so buckle up, because this deep dive is going to take us into some pretty murky waters. Military secrets, betrayals. We're talking a plot straight out of a spy thriller.
Oh, yeah.
It sure is. Two active duty soldiers and a former one, accused of selling classified information
To who?
to China.
Wow.
Yeah, it really raises some huge questions, right?
Yeah.
About national security and how far some people will go,
For what? Money.
yeah, for their own personal gain. Greed, I guess.
Yeah, that's a scary thought, right? The insider threat angle. You always think about external enemies,
Yeah.
like trying to hack systems, but what about the danger from within? People who exploit their positions, that trust to compromise sensitive information.
And we're not talking about low-level personnel here.
Mm-hmm.
Sergeant Jian Zhao and First Lieutenant Li Tian, both stationed at Joint Base Lewis-McChord. That's a pretty high-level access.
Their ranks are talent, a sergeant and a first lieutenant. They would have clearance levels that expose them to some pretty sensitive information.
Yeah.
Makes their actions all the more concerning, really underscores how vulnerable even the most secure organizations can be to betrayal from within.
So let's get into what kind of information they're accused of compromising.
Yeah.
We're talking missile launcher technology, details on U.S. military exercises in the Indo-Pacific, sensitive data on those armored vehicles,
Like what?
like the Bradley and the Stryker. It wasn't just random bits of information.
It sounds very targeted.
Yeah, it was a targeted effort to gather intel on some pretty key aspects of U.S. military capabilities.
That's an important point, right? The specificity of the data. That suggests it was a deliberate attempt
Yeah.
to acquire information that'd be directly valuable to a foreign adversary. It's not just stealing secrets. It's gaining a strategic advantage.
Yeah. And the sources go beyond just, listing the types of information stolen. It paints a picture of the methods they allegedly used. Zhao scanning documents with his phone on a weekend, images of hard drives with those secret labels.
Classic spy stuff.
It's like a spy movie.
But this is real life.
Yeah, but with huge consequences, right?
Absolutely. Those details, they highlight the potential security lapses. I mean, someone could just scan secret documents with a personal phone.
It's scary.
It's alarming. Underscores the need for those really robust security protocols, right? And continuous monitoring to prevent those kind of breaches.
Okay, so we've got the who and we've got the what. But every good spy story has a financial motive. The sources indicate Zhao received at least $15,000.
Not bad.
Yeah, and Tian got tens of thousands of dollars
Yeah.
through PayPal accounts in China. And Duan, the alleged middleman, was making payments to other individuals with security clearances
Wow.
and active duty military personnel. Seems like a network of individuals motivated by money.
The financial aspect, that's always crucial. For understanding motivations behind espionage.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, ideology, political allegiance, they can play a role. But often it really boils down to just greed.
Mm-hmm.
Betraying their country for money.
It makes you wonder, are we doing enough to identify those who might be vulnerable to, to financial enticements?
That's the question.
And there's this one detail that really caught my eye. Zhao asked for $1,800 in exchange for an encrypted U.S. military computer.
An entire computer.
An entire computer.
Wow.
Imagine the information on that device.
Yeah, that's worrying. An encrypted military computer that could contain operational plans, communications, intel reports.
Huge.
Incredibly damaging if it fell into the wrong hands.
Yeah. You have to wonder about the security of our hardware, the measures in place to prevent that kind of theft.
Absolutely.
This brings us to the larger issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
China's espionage network.
Uh-huh.
This isn't just an isolated incident. It's
Yeah.
part of a bigger pattern of Chinese intelligence targeting the U.S. military.
A rivalry that's been heating up.
Yeah, and playing out on multiple fronts, from cyberspace to, right here at home in our own institutions.
What's concerning is China is becoming more and more aggressive
Yeah.
in their intelligence gathering, employing all sorts of tactics from cyber attacks to these human intelligence operations like the one we're talking about today.
And we have some pretty strong words from U.S. officials on this.
Like,
Attorney General Pamela Bondi called it a betrayal of our country. FBI Director Kash Patel stressed the need to root out these efforts by Beijing.
right.
And Brigadier General Red Cox described it as a persistent and increasing foreign intelligence threat.
Yeah, those statements, they reflect that growing alarm bells within the U.S. government about the scale and the sophistication of Chinese espionage.
It's not just talk either, right?
Oh, no.
There are previous cases that that mirror what we're seeing here. Remember those two U.S. Navy officers in California charged with sending photographs and technical manuals to Chinese intelligence? Or Joseph D. Schmidt, the former service member, who allegedly offered sensitive information to Chinese authorities.
Mm.
These cases, it's like a pattern of behavior, a persistent effort to get U.S. military secrets.
Those past cases are really significant, I think, because they show that Chinese intelligence, they're willing to target anyone
Yes.
at various levels within the U.S. military, from junior officers to those in more senior positions. They're casting a wide net, looking for anyone who might be vulnerable to recruitment, whether it's through money, ideology, or other means.
And the sources mentioned this thriving private market for U.S. national security information in China.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's encouraged by the state itself. So it's not just a few individuals. It suggests a systematic effort to acquire this information.
With a whole network behind it.
Yeah, a whole network of actors involved.
That's a crucial point. This case, it's not just about the actions of these few individuals. It's a symptom of a larger geopolitical rivalry, between the U.S. and China, where information warfare is center stage.
So we've got a complex web of intrigue here. Betrayal, financial motivations, a larger geopolitical struggle.
Yeah.
What does this mean for us? What are the broader implications of this case? And what can we do to prevent this from happening again?
Now, that's where the real discussion begins. This case raises some fundamental questions about security vulnerabilities, the effectiveness of our counterintelligence, and that balance between national security and individual rights. It's a challenge that needs some innovative solutions and a collective effort to protect our most sensitive information. It really makes you think, if people with security clearances, people who swore to protect our nation, can be compromised, then, what does that say about how good our safeguards are?
Right. It's a scary thought, and it goes beyond military secrets too. What about U.S.-China relations? This has got to fuel tensions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Make it harder to cooperate on global issues.
Absolutely. This is like throwing gasoline on a fire. China's trying to undermine U.S. interests, could lead to, more confrontation in diplomatic relations.
Yeah.
Maybe even escalate military posturing.
And there are real consequences for military strategy, too. If China knows about our weapon systems, they could develop countermeasures or even try to copy them.
It really underscores how important it is that we keep our technological edge,
Yeah.
and protect that intellectual property.
Yeah.
Got to constantly be assessing, adapting security measures to stay ahead of the curve.
Okay, so what do we do? What steps can we take to prevent this from happening again?
Well, it's a tough one. No easy answers, but we can improve in a few key areas. For one, strengthen those background checks, vetting procedures for anyone with access to sensitive information. We need to be more thorough, look for vulnerabilities, financial distress, susceptibility to foreign influence, that kind of thing.
So digging deeper into their personal lives, their finances, that's a slippery slope, isn't it? Where's the line between security and privacy?
It's a balancing act, for sure. But foreign intelligence, they're getting more sophisticated.
Yeah.
They target individuals based on psychology, vulnerabilities, access to information. So we need better screening that goes beyond just a criminal record check.
So it's not about catching the bad guys after the fact, but finding those who might be vulnerable to recruitment before they can do any harm.
Exactly. A preventative approach rather than reactive. And it means constant monitoring, too. Look for red flags, changes in behavior, unexplained wealth, suspicious contacts. Detect those potential threats early.
But this case, it showed that even with security protocols, breaches can still happen. What makes us think more measures will actually work?
No system's perfect, you're right. But we can't let that stop us from trying, from strengthening our defenses.
Yeah.
Think of it as layers of security. Each layer adds more protection, making it tougher for those with bad intentions.
Making it airtight as possible, but accepting there's always going to be some risk.
Exactly. And beyond the human element, there's the tech side, too. We got to strengthen cybersecurity, data encryption, multi-factor authentication, intrusion detection systems.
So it's the tech, the background checks, the monitoring. What about the people themselves? Do they have a role in preventing this?
They do, absolutely. We got to educate them, raise awareness about the risks of espionage, how important it is to protect information.
Right.
Teach them the tactics used by foreign intelligence, how to spot potential threats, how to report suspicious activity.
So security awareness training. Everyone from the top down needs to understand the threat and their part in preventing it.
Exactly. Create a culture of security awareness. Everyone's vigilant, takes responsibility for protecting sensitive information.
But at the end of the day, we're relying on people to do the right thing. And this case shows sometimes they don't.
It's true. Human behavior, it's unpredictable. There will always be those who choose to betray their country for whatever reason.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean we give up. It means a multi-layered approach.
Right.
Technology, human vigilance, strong counterintelligence to minimize those risks.
Like a constant game of cat and mouse.
Yeah.
Each side trying to outmaneuver the other. Are we winning this game?
Tough question. Espionage it's a hidden war. Victories, defeats, they aren't always clear. But the stakes, they're huge. The consequences of losing, devastating.
This deep dive has been eye-opening, that's for sure. From this one incident to a discussion about national security, the threats we face, and the challenges of protecting information in today's world.
It shows espionage isn't just a movie plot. It's a real danger with the highest stakes. And the battle's always changing, new threats always emerging.
We still need to discuss the fallout for those accused and what this means for the future of U.S.-China relations.
That's right. Lots more to unpack there.
Yeah, it's a reminder that this fight for information never really ends.
Yeah.
Always that back and forth.
Each side trying to get ahead. Before we, get too far into that, let's talk about the individuals at the center of this.
Okay.
What are the consequences they face?
Yeah.
Zhao, Tian, and Duan, what happens to them now?
Well, the charges they're very serious. Espionage, conspiracy, theft of government property. These aren't just words, they represent a huge breach of trust, betraying their oath to protect the nation.
And those charges, they carry a heavy weight, right? We're not talking about a slap on the wrist here.
No, definitely not. We could be talking decades in prison, huge fines, loss of their careers, their security clearances, dishonorable discharge from the military. That'll follow them forever.
It really shows that actions have consequences. And
Yeah.
beyond the legal stuff, there's the social stigma, the
Yeah.
broken trust, the impact on their families.
Right.
It goes way beyond just them.
It does. That's a really important point. Espionage isn't victimless. It erodes that public trust, weakens national security. It can have consequences for everything: international relations, military strategy, tech development.
Yeah.
And those involved, it often leads to isolation, regret, a life burdened by those choices.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes, that's for sure. We've gone from this one incident to a much broader conversation about intelligence gathering, the motivations, the challenges of protecting information in this world we live in.
It's a reminder that espionage isn't just in the movies.
Right.
It's a real threat with the highest stakes, and it never stops changing. There's always new threats popping up.
So as we finish up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want me and everyone listening to take away from this?
I think the biggest lesson is we can't be complacent. We have to be vigilant, adaptable, proactive in protecting our national security, and that takes a collective effort.
Okay.
Government agencies, the private sector, us, the citizens,
Yeah.
we all have a role to play in protecting the information that keeps us safe.
Absolutely. And for everyone listening, this isn't just about soldiers and secrets. It's a wake-up call. The world's a complex place, and that battle for information is happening every day. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and most importantly, stay curious.